November 9th, 2018 is a date that Malibu will never forget. No matter how prepared we were not prepared for the terrifying inferno that barreled over the Santa Monica Mountains and blasted through the canyons right to our doorsteps.
In the aftermath of the fire, Malibu continues to show its strength and determination. And every step of the way, the city has committed to doing everything possible to help residents recover and rebuild as quickly as possible.
We created an expedited permitting process to make it faster and easier to rebuild on the same footprint, waived permitting fees, and hosted numerous workshops to help people navigate the complex and difficult challenge of rebuilding their homes. Almost half of the properties in our city that were destroyed in the Woolsey Fire have now submitted applications to rebuild. There are 32 homes in construction, and those numbers are rising every day.
Mother Nature took charge and put us on notice that we must do more to be prepared as we face the new normal of drought, extreme weather patterns, and massive wildfires. We are rising to that challenge and going above and beyond, doing more than we have ever done before.
In response to the Woolsey Fire, we formed the Disaster Response and Recovery Ad Hoc Committee to openly discuss how to improve our preparedness and response and how to help residents rebuild and recover. The city brought together more than 15 partner agencies for a large-scale tabletop exercise so that we can refine and improve our communication, tactics, and response for future evacuations from wildfires, earthquake, or other disasters.
If we have a widespread power outage or disaster, the city can deploy 10 points of distribution marked with flags and signs at gathering places such as parks and shopping centers. The stations will have sandwich boards that will be updated with emergency information. This past September, National Preparedness Month, the city focused on preparedness, including weekly tests of our disaster notification system, hosted trainings to help residents improve their own family preparedness, and held 4 different emergency preparedness classes for seniors. The city recently purchased a large number of megaphones, flashing light bars, and emergency vehicle placards so that the city staff and volunteers can alert residents during an emergency if sufficient law enforcement officers are not available to evacuate and inform residents.
The city also hired a fire safety liaison, a former battalion chief with 35 years of firefighting experience in our region who understands Malibu's fire challenges.
He provides one-on-one home fire safety assessments to help Malibu homeowners harden their homes against embers from a wind-driven wildfire like the Woolsey Fire. The Woolsey Fire was terrifying for all of us. Every person in our community was traumatized, whether they lost their home or not. In response to this community-wide trauma, the city launched a resilience program that brings together concepts of environmental sustainability, fire resistance, and community resilience. Art, music, and poetry became instruments of healing with the community art exhibition Radical Beauty Malibu Rising. The exhibit offered residents a platform and a safe space to reflect on their experience of the Woolsey Fire, where hundreds of people came together to support each other.
This past year has been the most challenging year in Malibu's history. It tested and strained the strength and resolve of our community, but it did not break us. We will always rise up stronger than before. I just want to say to all of my neighbors, friends, colleagues, and everybody in the Malibu community, it's been the hardest year that any of us can remember. It's been a year of devastation, of growth, of coming together, and of neighbors helping each other. Let's continue to do that. Please call me, come to me. I will help you in any way that I can, and I know the city's ready to help. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to your HOAs and your neighborhoods to talk about fire resiliency. It's really encouraging to me that we're all taking responsibility and joining together to make Malibu safer and more prepared for the next disaster or for the next fire. And I'm glad to come to your neighborhoods anytime to discuss this subject.
The Woolsey Fire left a dark stain in a part of our community's history, and as we look back on it a year later, it's really important to us to focus on working through this as a community, continuing to help our neighbors, our friends, especially those that have lost everything, as we continue to rebuild and put our community back together.
It's hard to believe it's been a year since the Woolsey Fire in Malibu. And so much has gone on in that year. We're rebuilding, we're looking forward, we're also frustrated and deflated. But being a home loser like many of you, I still look forward to the day I can open the front door and walk in and have a new home. It will be difficult, but let's share this frustrating time together and kind of work together as best we can, overcome our differences, and look forward to the challenge of rebuilding.
Our ability to withstand a disaster on the scale of the Woolsey Fire in the future is going to be a function of how well the residents, the city, and the responding public safety agencies work together as a team. And that teamwork starts right now, before the disaster. We need to train, we need to educate, we need to prepare, and we need to break down the barriers between the way those three entities work together.